Greetings, it's an honor to be with you today. And today, the title is Crippled by Fear. That's right, we're going to talk about being crippled by fear today. I'm reading from the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verses 10 to 16, and it says this. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. And they were sore afraid, And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, because there was no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will shew to you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And the Lord said unto Moses, okay, before I get to that now, awesome speech by Moses, right? Let's set it up. Israel is standing before the Red Sea, Pharaoh and his armies behind them, and there are mountains on every side, so there is no retreat. They can't go back. If they go back, they're going back in surrender and to whatever Pharaoh and his armies would do to them. And I want you to see, in that moment, their words were so faithless, full with fear. They were crippled, literally crippled by fear, standing by the Red Sea, to the point that they began to cry to Moses because this was God's deliverer. And I want to focus in on Moses. I don't want to focus too much on the children of Israel today. I want to focus in on Moses because Moses gives them a great speech. Fear not. You're going to see the salvation of God. Stand still and all of that. It sounds good, right? But I want you to see how Israel's cry to Moses turns into Moses crying to God. And you may say, well, who is he supposed to cry to, minister? When people cry to us, we should cry to God. Well, that's true. But what if God has already empowered you to act? And by that I mean all that Moses endured at the beginning of the call at the burning bush, when he put his hands into his bosom and it became leprous white, and he threw the stick down and it became a serpent. All of this was preparatory. It was in preparation for Moses to go to Egypt and to do the 10 plagues. And of course, he began with throwing the stick down and it becoming a serpent and eating up Pharaoh's snakes. There were great plagues and demonstrations done in Egypt. God wrought wonderful works. Why is Moses standing at the Red Sea as if he forgot? And that's why this verse is so important. Verse 15. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, this is the Lord now, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward, and I'm going to stop there. In other words, Moses, yeah, they're crying to you, but why are you crying to me? I've already given you instructions and I've given you weapons. Oh, I wonder if you're with me today. So he says, tell them to go forward. In other words, don't go backwards. You know where you're going to or where you're coming from. Backwards is fear, but go forward in faith. All right? And this is God's instructions to Moses, because I guess God had to tell him. It says, but lift thou up thy rod and stretch out thine hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. In other words, Moses had all that he needed all the while. He had the rod that had been with him from the beginning of the deliverance in Egypt, that was with him every step of the way. Moses had that. I believe it was the rod of Abraham. He had it the whole while. But he allowed Israel's fear and apprehension to take him out of his game and take him out of his zone. And quite often, fear will do that to us. It's designed to cripple us because we can't, or fear and faith can't coincide. It's either one or the other. And at the Red Sea, fear was taking a toll. But I'm so thankful for the Word of God that is enabled to redirect us again, to disperse fear, and cause faith to rise up that propels us to act. And the question that I'm asking you today, you may be crippled by your Red Sea. What has God spoken to you, and what has He given you? The rod symbolizes the gift and the call on your life. And I know that you may be apprehensive. It's in this nature to be fearful, but fear not. It's time to have faith in God, because when we do that, then are we going to do great exploits. So Moses, stretch that rod out and don't allow fear to cripple you. Go forward in God and conquer your Red Sea, because God is with you. And if God be with you, and if He be for you, who are they that are against you?